Jen, thanks a million for sitting in on the podcast today.
Yeah.
It's lovely to meet you. And I suppose I don't really know you maybe as well as I do Killian and Leah, who you have now merged with
Yep.
in Take Nine. So tell me a little bit about yourself and where you started out. I know you did government and public policy in UCC,
Yeah.
and you're a West Cork girl.
I am. Yeah. So my role at the moment, I suppose, is leading out the marketing agency. So prior to merging with Gillian and Leah on the production side, it was all paid acquisition was our, performance marketing was our bread and butter. Now it's a bit more of a blend of the content production side as well. So we feel a bit more full house now for sure. But yeah, to take it back a little bit, I grew up in West Cork. I did my undergraduate degree in government and public policy. And after realizing that, government and public policy is basically just marketing to the masses in a different way.
Absolutely. I think marketing falls
Yeah,
into every role.
it does. Yeah, for sure. So after that, I worked in the Chamber of Commerce for a while.
Yeah.
And as part of my role there, I was auditing a lot of marketing courses, fell in love with it. And I decided to move myself into a marketing agency. So, and do my master's degree at the same time, which
And
was
where
a
what
double
agency
position.
did you work for?
At the time, they were called Click, but it was
Right.
3B1 now.
Okay, yeah.
So I worked there and I did my 9 to 5 there and my 6 to 9 in MTU at the time to
Hold on.
do the master's degree. And then, perfect timing in March of 2020, I said, well, hand in my notice and start my own agency.
But there was a lot
Yeah.
of learnings, I suppose, prior to that because off air you were telling me about, and remind me the name of it. It's not Shark Tank. It is.
Oh, the launch accelerator.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Tell
yeah.
me a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, I suppose that came afterwards.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, yeah. So I started my own agency in March of 2020. That was acquired. I started in the March. We were acquired by the September. So that was we had a really good front loaded sprint there.
And what do you need to set up a marketing agency? Like you and
You and a laptop and a dream.
and
No, I'm joking.
I think a bit of grit,
A
really.
bit of grit. I think you don't start a marketing agency without having gone through a learning curve of having like a strong backbone. I even see it when you're hiring people for marketing roles. They, it's an awful thing to say, but you kind of have to be able to handle your head getting bitten off here
Yeah.
and there because you're handling people's bread and butter.
Hmm.
Your hand sometimes, and it shouldn't be the case because you should have a diversified marketing to cover, you know you should have lots of streams of income or ways to grow your business. And for a lot of businesses it's just the paid ads.
Hmm.
And that can put the, you know comms person, it can put anyone in the firing line on a marketing agency side. So yeah, certainly that was the big thing. But going out on your own and just getting an agency started up in March of 2020, the first couple of weeks, obviously when COVID hit first, it was like, oh God, what have I done? This is a terrible idea. But then the trading online vouchers started to get rolled out and
And
everyone
what
went
was the
online.
goal in mind when you set it up?
I didn't necessarily have a goal in mind, but what I did do, and it sounds all fancy to be like, oh, Joe, I just handed in my notice and I was like, right, I'm starting my own agency. But what I actually did was I built up enough clients in the background until I was matched my wage.
Yeah. And I think that's an important probably
Yeah,
part because
yeah,
you've got to exist, right? You've got to be
yeah.
able to live. And that's kind of the essentials.
Yeah, exactly. So like when I finished my masters, I had my suddenly had 6 to 9 p.m. free. So I was like, I'll fill that with clients. And then I realized that, once I'd had first couple of clients in, I was like, oh, I could do this. And then it got to a point where I was like, I hate doing this side hustly piece while I'm also working for an agency because it's by default a conflict of interest.
Hmm.
But luckily for me, it was a kind of an overlap of a couple of months where I was like, right, I'm just sussing this out for myself. And then I went from there then into it. Yeah.
And obviously, okay, you're obviously a superb marketer, right? That goes without saying because, I mean, you've marketed yourself
Yeah.
on, let's say, Instagram, where you have 160,000 followers.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk to you about that separately in a minute because that is incredible. To achieve that growth over how many years?
I did it in 157 days to be specific.
157 days to go from what to what?
0 to 130.
Oh my God. Okay,
Yeah,
we're going to delve
yeah,
into that in
yeah,
a minute.
yeah,
But you're obviously a good business developer as well, because to bring clients on board, you need to be able to engage with
yeah,
prospective
yeah,
clients,
yeah.
companies. How did you onboard people initially?
Yeah, onboarding, I mean, it was all network. Like if you look at, I have this growth dashboard that I use, and Killian and Leah are still like, I'm like, look at the growth dashboard. But I have a list of all of my clients down the left hand side, and I've kept this for years. And to the right hand side, it says where they came from.
And is this like an Excel spreadsheet? Or when
Yeah,
you
yeah,
say a
yeah.
dashboard, are you talking
Oh
kind of
yeah,
like,
no, it's nothing fancy.
okay,
It's a Google Sheet doc. I have all my clients listed down the left hand side that I've ever had. It's like a micro CRM, but
okay,
it's because it's not thousands, you know. To the right of that, then it's where they came from. Was it a referral? Was it TikTok? Was it Instagram? Did a friend of a friend mention something? And even just sometimes the anecdotal note of like, your friend Tommy was talking to this man down the road and
yeah,
happened to mention whatever the case might be. But if you looked at that list, it is 90% referrals.
yeah,
So like growing my Instagram account was almost like a stress tester against that data to say, will growing my Instagram account have a material impact on, finding clients and then onboarding clients? And the answer was no, not really. It didn't have a material impact on that metric. The most material impact it had was on the speed to deal closed,
okay.
is what I found. But that's kind of a separate piece. But yeah, on the onboarding side, then we actually use a really nice system called Tally. Have you heard of it?
No, and I'm going to start taking notes as you're talking, because my ears are wide open, and I think this is why it's brilliant for anybody that's either setting up a business or looking
Mm,
to engage with you.
yeah,
It's all these little nuggets that really, really help
yeah,
people like us to grow.
yeah.
Tell me about
Tally.
it. Is it Tally or
Tally
why?
dot so. It is like Typeform, but pennies cheap comparatively. And it allows you to connect your own domain to it. So I have this like really nice system where, like, say if I was onboarding Alpha Wealth as a
Hmm.
client, then you would go to alphawealth.onboarding.lemon7.ie, like our own domain, and it's purpose built for you. It's like, hey, this is how you're going to navigate your onboarding. And there's like little clips of me being like, hey, this is how you give me access to your Google Ad account, and it walks you through the steps. Um,
Which is really, really good, because for people that aren't familiar with
yeah.
Google Ads and all that, I mean, it's nearly like it's a job in itself,
Yeah.
really. Um, that's a fantastic
Yeah.
tool to use for people that aren't as maybe technologically advanced as others.
Completely. Then underneath I just have two options being like, I didn't understand this, I need help. And like, I don't have one yet. You said you do that for me, which
Yeah.
is fine then. So like it's a really automated system. So if someone clicks request a proposal on the site, that comes straight into my inbox. But an automated message has also gone to them with a 2-day delay on a calendar invite, which means they open up my calendar, they pick a time to have their initial consultation, but there's a forced 2-day gap to allow me time to read through that briefing. Then when they have that call, they get their proposal from me, which again kicks off another kickoff
Yeah.
consultation. They've gotten their automated onboarding in between. So everything gets set up really smoothly.
How have you learned so much in such a short period of time? I mean, I'm looking at, let's say, I'm referring now to your Instagram posts and all of the nuggets of information that
Yeah.
you provide around the whole AI space and everything like that. Where did it all come from? I mean, because there's a lot of information there.
I think half of it is just when you make a hames of things yourself,
Yeah.
you figure it out
Do you know about
afterwards.
that?
So I'll always ask myself, is there an automated way to do it? Is there a more efficient way to do it? And is there a better way to do it? And I was doing that kind of even before the AI piece. Like, I think a lot of people at the moment are looking to AI for the answers without having considered automation first, which
Mhm.
isn't AI. It's just like, can something talk to another system and do it better? And then, someone manually doing it and free up their time for something else. Um, but along that journey, you end up finding lots of nuggets. I'm obsessed with a website called Product Hunt. Have you heard
Okay.
that?
No, I'm
Producthunt.com.
gonna look like really stupid here now, because I'm like, no, I haven't heard of that either.
Product Hunt is fantastic. I
Yeah.
go to it every single morning. And what it has done is like anyone in the SaaS or tech world that has an idea can launch it there, and people vote for their favorites of the day.
Wow.
So every day you can go in there and see like the best new idea that someone has come out with, or you'll find bigger companies will sometimes do a relaunch of a feature.
Yeah.
So you kind of, I find that one of the best resources to keep up to speed. Now there's tons of newsletters, and I feel like half the time when you're doing Instagram content like that, it's partially what you've learned and what you needed to implement yourself. And then there's like a journalistic
Mhm.
aspect where you're just aggregating the best of the information out there. So Product Hunt is probably the top of the golden nuggets to find new AI
Okay, that's
tools.
another one on my list to add to the ever growing list that I need to
That's where I
now
found
act
Tally.
on.
Yeah.
Um, the Instagram following, you
Yeah.
said you grew it
I grew,
to
yeah, I
over 157 days, is that?
157 days straight. Yeah.
So when did you do that? When did you start?
May of 2023.
And
And I
did
rolled
you
it through
plan it
this
in
year.
advance? Like, because obviously there's a lot of content
No,
required in
no.
157 days.
Yeah.
Talk to me about what you did and how you set on
Do you know
growing that,
what?
because I think anyone listening that has an Instagram page, well, I'm going to talk from
Yeah.
my own experience. It's very, very difficult to grow. But
Yeah.
my ears are all open now. I'm listening to what you've got to say about how you grew yours.
Yeah, you know what? It started with a client asking me for advice on their Instagram account, to which I delivered advice, but was rebutted with, "But you haven't done that." And I was like, "Do you know what? I feel like shoemaker with no shoes. Like, yeah, I just have to do it."
You have to prove yourself.
Yeah, yeah. And so the next day I was like, right, I'm going to create a video today. And I'm going to do it every single morning until I've crossed 100,000 followers and just see what it actually takes to do this.
Okay, I'm going to stop you there just for a second. Where did you create the video? Like on what? Using
I
what?
just picked up my phone.
Okay.
Now, to be fair, because I work in marketing, I do have Leah's going to laugh at me now when she hears this, but I felt like I had a decent understanding of like, oh, I know that that microphone's good, or
Yeah.
basics,
Okay.
very basics. But so yeah, my phone and a microphone really
Okay.
was what I had in front of me, and I just did a video. If you scroll back, don't scroll back, don't scroll back. Actually, never mind.
Well,
But
I
they
have
get
been
progressively
scrolling,
worse.
and well, there's some lovely places you visited, by the way, and those
Yeah, yeah,
your dogs. Yeah, we'll get to that as well.
yeah. But yeah, they get better. Like the idea is,
So start with the concept. What concept did you start with? I'm going to do a
yeah,
video,
yeah.
and what am I going to do it on?
Yeah, what am I going to do it on? And I just looked at what I had said in my meetings for that week. I had looked at like the information around me, and I was like, okay, I'll pick a topic every day that has been interesting to me in some way, shape, or form. At that point, I had already gone through the accelerator program in the US. I had, raised a lot of money. I had worked with a lot of startups, so I was starting to get, I was picking up these like savvy pieces of advice that they were either sharing with each other or sharing with me, or and I just started like jotting down the nuggets as they came in and just used them as topical launch points.
So there's always a hook, right?
There's always a hook.
And
Yeah.
the other thing is there's always the consistent ending, which is
Yeah.
DM me
So
for.
I have a very clear structure. So 16.7 seconds, which I know is very specific,
Okay.
is my highest performing real length. And that was always pretty consistent. So I'd always try to land what I was going to say within 15 to 17 seconds, which is short,
Very short. I
very
mean, we do
short.
15-second ads for our webinars, and it's really hard to get a message
Yeah.
into that 15 seconds.
Yeah. So it is always hook, problem, solution, call to action.
Hmm.
Like it's four sentences. So the hook might be one of my bigger ones that always did very well for me was like stop using Canva,
Hmm.
because everyone uses Canva,
Yeah.
and like I use Canva all the time. Don't stop using Canva. It's fantastic. But I would say something like stop using Canva, and then slot in Canva doesn't do this particular problem. This does. And if you'd like the link to it, so that you can have it saved for later, comment below. And then I would use a service called ManyChat, which would automatically reply to that person then privately in their DMs with a message that said, hey, thank you so much for commenting on the post. Here's the link to the relevant tool that you were looking for. And by the way, I have a newsletter over here. This is more information about my business. And, what I found really interesting that I plugged in about, I wish I'd done this from the start. If you're doing this, do it from the start.
Yeah, well, I want to hear it. Tell
Uh,
me. But
But
it's not the start.
no, because reels are shown so much to non-followers
Yeah.
that I would say about 50-60% of the people that were commenting, especially early on, weren't following me. So then I added a line to the end of that DM that said, and by the way, if you want to get more of these in your feed every day, you have to go to my page and click follow.
Okay.
So that helped grow it kind of a bit more exasperately then.
So
Yeah.
was it just like this? I mean, how many followers were you growing a day?
Um,
1,000?
the first 90
No,
days, no,
10,000.
sorry,
Sorry, I'm like, no. Sorry, I'm trying to do my math here. Yeah, 1,000,
it
150,
was
70.
averaging in thousands, yeah. But at the first 45 days was minimal. I think I grew from like I had about 1,200 followers when I started. It wasn't absolutely nothing, but I mean it was 1,200 followers of me posting pictures of Cork and happening to know people, and
Yeah,
it was a
yeah.
very personal account to a degree. Um and it took it must have been 45 plus days to even cross the 5,000 mark. It was so slow. Like even 60 days, I was like, oh, will I throw in the towel? Like it was just painful at that point.
Okay. Do you think Instagram has picked up on the algorithm has picked up on, okay, this is what you're doing,
Oh,
and
it
does
took
it slow it
time.
down?
Oh, 100%. And I'll tell you even more why in a second because after I took a break from Instagram and now I'm getting back into it, my God, it has my reach tanked. Like I have to do a whole pile of work now again in the next few months to get that back up. But yeah, 60 days, 60 days or so. And I remember it was a Friday night. I put out a video and I went to bed. And when I woke up in the morning, I had gone from 5 to 20 plus thousand
Oh my
overnight.
God.
And like, I remember actually, I was actually sitting on my bedroom floor because I was actually kind of like a little bit shook. Like, I was frightened because like the DMs, like my phone couldn't even refresh fast enough for the DMs coming in. And then there was like, because the automated tool couldn't keep up with the amount of comments that were
Oh my
flooding
God.
that particular post.
And what was that
Um,
post on the stock Canva?
it was a trick you could use to get ChatGPT to give you broader answers than it technically should at the time when it had
Okay.
just been released.
Yeah.
So it was like dun 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 dun, and I had to turn off my notifications because the phone was actually just physically hopping off the table.
Whoa.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then from there, just compound. It was very easy then from there because I knew that was the first video that had the structure, hook, problem, solution piece that just nailed it at the perfect timing. Everything. I just like you take what works and do it again and again and again and better.
Yeah.
And that actually became my Achilles heel over the time. And what I'm kind of learning about it now is
Did you ever run out of ideas of what to kind of?
product hunt anywhere. So like I'd scrape an
Yeah.
idea together somewhere, or I'd just search on Instagram AI tools. I'd find marketing tips that were had done. There's a tool called Viral Finder, without the E, so VIRALFINDR, that lets you put in topics and it'll give you the list of topics that have done the most viral contribution to a platform in the previous 30 days.
Okay.
So sometimes it's a little bit of piggybacking, like,
Yeah, but
you
like
have
you're
to.
getting it out there because somebody
100%.
needs to kind of.
You're gonna have your own spin on it and everything else as well. Or like often I'd see a tool that was like, oh, that's gone viral, and all of these people are saying this about it, but I would use it for this, and you use your own kind of 2 cents to
Yeah.
diversify what it means. Yeah.
So Lemon 7.
Yeah.
Talk to me about Lemon 7. Where did the name come from?
Joe, we were joking about the name recently because Lemon 7 and then Take 9 merging together, we should have called ourselves Lemon 8.
Yeah.
We should have met in the middle. But I'm someone who's never been too pushed about names. Like I'll
Lemon and 7. It sounds good together.
Yeah, it sounds good together. That like that's the extent of it. I often think that like you can put a sticker on anything, you can call anything anything. It doesn't
Yeah.
really matter. It'll
It's not that
boil.
you really like lemons.
No, no, no. I'm making lemonade from all those lemons.
What is I suppose, the vision for Lemon 7, and, what do you do for businesses?
Yeah, I mean the vision is still kind of coming together as we merge. Once upon a time I wanted to be the best performance marketing agency in the country. And a lot of my work took me stateside for a while. That kind of derailed that point of view in Ireland temporarily. But now it's very much about bringing together the production, like the end to end experience. So like this is the first time that we are pitching for equivalent contracts that you would see as like what feels small in the US is huge here.
Yeah.
So like the smaller contracts that we would have done in the States, it's the first time that we're starting to, pitch for business of that scale here. So it's good to have gone through that practice round, we'll call it.
Yes.
Whereas so it'll be exciting the next few months if a few things pan out the way they're supposed to, it'll be good. Yeah.
So you're moving to a new location,
Yeah.
and it's going to be big premises.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So really, really
5,000 square
exciting.
feet.
5,000 square feet. Oh my God. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
that's a big premises.
It's a huge premises,
So what
yeah.
will the offerings be there?
Yeah, so there is going to be two types of infinity wall, which is a wall that is curved. So if you do videos or, photos or any sort of work like that, you'd see them in pretty much any high-end production facility. I believe, and I may stand corrected, that it'll be the second largest in the country that's rentable and available. The other one's in Dublin. If not, it's certainly the biggest in Munster for sure. Outside of something that's like a TV production space that
Yeah.
like the likes of RTE would use. There'll be podcast room, YouTube. For the first time, we'll be doing vertical sets so people can come in and be ready for their social
Okay.
content. There'll be a fully functional set that is a kitchen. So
What about an office?
there will be an office. There will be an office. And we will actually have a few rentable desks, which I think will be good for, freelancers and things like that,
Brilliant.
because we don't really want it to be a space that's isolated to us as an agency. Like there will be other agencies in, there will be other marketers in that are using it to, work for their clients, and collaborating with other agencies is probably a big thing that we do. And I think often agencies are like, oh, my clients, my things, my things. I'm sure we all do the same work realistically.
Yeah.
We're all trained to a very similar standard. You might just have one person who's more interested in your particular industry than another that might make you choose one agency over another. But the rest of it is just sales and jazz hands.
And for like a small to medium sized business, let's say that's based, let's take it in the
Mm.
city, and they just don't have the manpower to deal with their digital marketing side of the business, let's say.
Yeah.
Do you offer that as a service for these kind of businesses?
Yeah.
Because I think if you're not at the races now, it's hard to keep up.
Yeah. Yeah. So we do that work a lot. So we slot in as a digital marketing agent or like a team. So like even in the first slide of my pitch deck that goes out, it's like you'll find us to be an extension of your team. Like that's what we become.
Mm.
It's almost like, oh, must pick up the phone and ring Jen. As like one of my favorite testimonials from a client actually is the end of the sentence is, sometimes I forget she's not in the office with us,
Lovely.
which is that kind of, that's the aim of anything like that. But we do work a lot with companies that have a marketing team.
Okay.
We're an additional support. We're an area of expertise that maybe is lapsing. And for one company at the moment, they came to us and they were like, we want to keep using you, but we also want to hire in house. Like, how are we going to marry these two things? And often agencies will get fired when an in house team comes in. But we had all the information for years. It's like it would make no sense to do like a, right, I'm
A
going to
chop.
chop this
Yeah.
down the middle. So instead what we
It's a
did was
blended approach, really, I suppose, is it?
we know we did a
Okay.
training program. So we trained in their staff, and now every time they hire someone new into that marketing team, they actually do their training with us first before they go in there, and then they get like these nuggets of agency experience. Because I always say it, I don't, this could be lightly controversial, but like if you're
Say
hiring a
it. Say
marketer,
it. Say it.
if you're hiring a marketer in house, hire one from an agency. Don't hire someone that has necessarily gone through all of in house all the time, because someone who's working in an agency is juggling 10, 12 clients, different angles, different businesses. They'll have 101 things that they have seen work. And it's that works best in marketing.
Yeah.
The B2B client over here that did this quirky thing could work for that B2C company over here that's selling retail. And you're not
Absolutely.
going to see that otherwise.
Absolutely. So you're getting kind of, I suppose it's like a hand in all the pots when you've worked in an agency. You're getting to
And just
see,
sheer speed.
yeah, yeah.
Sheer speed
So
that we have to
agile
work at
there.
comparatively. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So you mentioned kind of obviously working with kind of in-house teams in terms of digital advertising and doing kind of the Google ads and all of that spend versus kind of traditional marketing methods like whether it's radio or what are your thoughts on that?
You know what? When I started out first, I used to be like, digital is the only way forward. Like, look at these people still publishing ads in the newspaper. Who reads the newspaper? Lots of people do. Lots of very well off people do, it turns out. So no, it needs to be a blended approach, but it largely is determined by your growth stage.
Mhm.
So each advertising channel has its own merits and its
Mhm.
own beneficial structure that will, help you grow. And traditional isn't to be thrown to the wayside with that, because often brands won't get the brand recognition they need to truly scale. Like, I find companies in Ireland, when they hit a 10 million cap, like, just because of our population density and all of the rest of it, they just cannot break through that ceiling, especially in retail. So then you have to start looking at the UK.
Okay.
And the UK, or as you start moving
But does that
abroad.
mean like that? I'm just saying digits and zeros and kind of like cost and spend and, obviously like,
Yeah, but if you start a business in Ireland,
mhm.
often you won't have to put in the same legwork as like scaling abroad, because everyone knows you, everyone's heard the story, they've just happened upon it. It's referrals, it's your brand awareness has grown its legs and arms just by virtue of you being in that country and you doing the networking, the talking. People have talked about you. Jump over to the UK, no one knows you from Adam. You better be putting up some, either isolating out a location, doing a little bit of the radio piece. Like, you have to leverage those tools. That's just one example of it. There's
Yeah, yeah,
lots of
yeah.
other
Yeah.
purposes. That one's just comes to mind at the moment because it's something I'm working on for someone. But it's that piece that, like, if no one knows you from Adam, you have to plug in a lot of the traditional advertising pieces. Digital won't carry you. If I have two companies that let's say we have two companies, company A and company B, and they both sell cups,
Mhm.
right? And they both have the same margin, same manufacturer. The only difference is a sticker on the bottom.
Mhm.
If you know the name of the sticker at the bottom of one of them and not the other, which one are
Absolutely.
you picking? And the traditional piece leverages hugely towards that, more than people realize, because backlog I saw was be like, "Ah, just plug in and play with the ads and go." But it was only over time when I'd started collating more and more clients and realized, like, you guys are kind of the same as you guys to a degree. Why are the numbers so wildly different?
Different.
And it
Yeah.
came back to brand recognition always.
And how many touch points do you think a product needs, or not even a product, a service, a business? Like,
I think seven is not the case anymore. Seven was the number all
we're
along.
being bombarded with
Yeah.
brands and names, and so it's hard to
I
compete
think
in
you're
a.
closer to 16, 17 at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in terms of marketing spend, what would you think a company's marketing spend should be kind of based on their overall turnover?
Totally depends on their growth goals. So like if you're a lifestyle business, you can be much more frugal with your marketing and grow into that than like if you're trying to reach the stars. So for example, when we would work with early stage startups coming out of an accelerator in the US, they would have had investors on their back, like crunching them to, like, you have to spend to grow.
Hmm.
It's a very different model. Most companies here will be bootstrapped and they have to do a more frugal approach, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with either or. And then you'll have some companies that are like, I've one company that I work with here at the moment that is bootstrapped but is aiming for the stars. So
Yeah.
like they will squash themselves down to a 5% margin to have that growth, that explosive growth in between, that they can start getting the investors. So it kind of comes back to the actual goals of people. But in terms of like your business, you're an SME, you're in Cork, you're looking to get started for the first time, how we operate, regardless of business size or anything, is we always start with a micro budget.
Hmm.
We throw the spaghetti on the wall with a minimum viable budget to see what sticks, and then scale what works, pull out what doesn't, and you do a process of continuous improvement and growth on the budget then based on that. Because whether you have 10K budget or €500 budget, in the first few weeks, first few months are solving the same problems. Why not solve the problems on a micro budget that'll give you those answers and grow afterwards? Yeah.
Fantastic. I mean, my mind is kind of flying around and whizzing around going, okay, what more? And like the thing is, do you need to be different to stand out? Do you need to be different? Do you need to do different things to stand out from the masses?
100%. Yeah. Yeah. There's just too much content in the feed.
Yeah.
Like, people still think, oh, you've only 3 seconds. 3 seconds has gone by the wayside. You have a fraction of a second. There was a something that made me laugh the other day. It was like someone commenting on the millennial pause. it's like the concept of like people who are not as savvy, we'll say, as the Gen Zs out there, um, where when you start a video, and you haven't cut the gasp or just the moment of silence before you start talking, like that's actually
That's a
you
waste
gone.
of,
That's you're gone.
yeah,
You're gone.
yeah,
Yeah,
you're
that's
cut
it.
off.
Yeah, you've been
Oh
cut
my
off. Yeah,
God. I'm
yeah.
actually kind of afraid of this world. So Jen, I suppose there's just so much to cover. It's a really exciting time for you,
Yeah.
for Lemon 7, and wish you all the best in your endeavors. And yeah, it's an exciting story. So I can't wait to see the
Yeah.
new space.
Yeah.
And good luck with all the move.
Amazing. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. Great to chat.